C. F is for fire that burns down the whole town, used for uranium bombs. N is for no survivors when you...
Plankton! Those things aren't what fun is all about.
Hello, my name is Austin Lehman, and welcome to a special edition of Austin Weekend. Coming over here is Dad and...
BMO says fall down.
Yes, he does say fall down.
So I will put BMO right back up there.
And we are here to review a special show called SpongeBob SquarePants.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
And boy, do we have some words to say about this show.
Yeah, first of all, when did it come on?
May 1st of 1999.
And when were you born?
April the 7th of 1999.
So SpongeBob has been on for 17 years, almost.
Yeah.
May the first year in a few weeks it'll be on 17 years. So this is the cartoon that you grew up with.
Yes, it is the show that I grew up with ever since I was born. And enough of that, let's get on to the show itself. You know what it's all about. It's SpongeBob with its going around in the undersea, going to the town of Bikini Bottom, meeting up with Patrick, Squidward, Mr. Krabs, Sandy, Plankton, and all the others.
Mm-hmm.
There's an unlimited amount of good stuff here.
Yeah. SpongeBob has been it's probably the best show that Nickelodeon has ever done.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
It is the best show that they've put out.
Yeah. And for any show to last 17 years, it's got to be a good show.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the longest running cartoon on
Nickelodeon.
On Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network
Or
Disney. The only cartoon that's ran longer than SpongeBob is on Fox.
The Simpsons is the only show that's ran longer than SpongeBob on television.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable already.
So it is one of the most popular shows out, and it's one of our most favorite shows too. As you see, we have a SpongeBob. SpongeBob came here to hang out with us.
Yeah.
While we talk about the show, but
the show is phenomenal. The quality of it is beyond any comparison.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the best shows that I've ever seen, and that's saying a lot because I've watched some really good shows.
Mm-hmm. And like everybody, my favorite are the first few years of it. Just the class. I'm a classic SpongeBob lover.
Me too. The first 3 seasons are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Those 3 seasons were just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Like with any shows, you've got good with bad, but the first 3 seasons of SpongeBob were
just good,
just really good.
Nothing bad, just good.
No,
it's the kind of show that you can't find any bad episodes in.
No, so we were talking the other day. It's really SpongeBob has become iconic. He's a personality that everybody knows everywhere, and even some of the episodes. I say, whenever it gets to the point to where you can quote episodes 10 years later that you've seen them,
that is something.
That's something. Like the old timey Bugs Bunny, I can still quote some old timey Bugs Bunny. Looney Tunes that I haven't seen in probably 15 or 20 years, but they were so good and I liked them so much that pieces of the show
still stick in your mind.
My mind thought it was good enough to hang on to for 20 years. So, and there's like I said, especially the first 3 years of SpongeBob, there's some of those shows that are still stuck in my mind. I can still remember parts of them, and we even quote them
a lot.
We quote some of the things that's happened on SpongeBob quite a bit, yeah.
What are some of the funniest moments in this awesome show?
Oh, everything. I said one of the quotes that pops up in my mind is, we use it all the time. What are we going to do today?
Oh no, what do you want to do today?
I don't know. What do you want to do today?
I don't know what you want to do today.
And there's just a lot of just moments like that just stick with you.
That's not the only good thing in the show.
No.
There's plenty of stuff we get to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the iconic characters.
Mm-hmm.
SpongeBob is
SpongeBob, yeah.
Who is the optimistic one. Patrick, who is the idiot,
mm-hmm.
but he's a funny one. Squidward, who is annoyed with everything in his life.
He is the opposite of SpongeBob. He's like SpongeBob as an antagonist, the opposite.
Yeah.
Positive about everything, negative about everything. Yeah.
And then you got Mr. Krabs, who is SpongeBob's...
Money.
Who is Mr. Moneyman.
Money. He loves...
Who always wants your money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Plankton, who's his rival in his business, and also an evil genius.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was clever. And there are a bunch
Sandy
of...
Squirrel. She's
like an inventor, scientist that lives underwater.
A squirrel in a dome living at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. That makes no sense, but it works here for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my goodness, there's so much to say about this.
There's a bunch of side characters that are always too. Mr. Jenkins. Oh man, Jenkins. Oh man, Jenkins. See, they're just characters pop up in your mind that you haven't seen in forever. Old Man Jenkins is a reoccurring character that's just hilarious.
You can't forget Larry the Lobster.
Larry the Lobster. I was thinking of Larry the Lobster. He's the buff dude, the workout dude.
He goes out in the lifeguard.
Larry the Lobster. Mr. Crab's daughter.
Pearl.
It's funny, a crab has a daughter.
That's literally a whale.
A whale. She's literally a whale. It's funny. You want to wonder, how did Mr. Krabs have a whale for a daughter? But hey, hey, got Mr. Puff.
Yeah, SpongeBob's boating teacher, although she doesn't do it very well.
No, and he doesn't learn very well on that either. No,
he fails so much in the show that.
Say another thing come up. Big Toe. You just think of those little things when they drive. Big Toe when he's driving the car.
But the one thing you learn from SpongeBob when you drive, don't floor it.
Don't floor it. And floor it!
Now let's get to the animation. It's pretty good too.
Mm-hmm. The animation is good. I said the backgrounds are awesome.
They're instantly recognizable.
Mm-hmm. You still wonder how they build campfires under the ocean, but hey.
It's a show that doesn't follow logic, so I guess that's acceptable.
Sometimes it doesn't, so it makes it funny, yeah.
It doesn't go by logic, so you don't have to...
It's got some really good... some of the songs, too.
Are really good.
Are really good. I mean...
F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. And it is for everyone at any time at all down here in the deep blue sea.
Yeah, there's songs like that. See, you remember that song. You probably haven't seen that in
years,
but there's just parts of it that are just awesome forever, yeah. So, yeah, there's a lot of iconic moments that...
just stick in your brain once you see them.
Just stick in your brain, yeah.
Sweet, sweet, sweet victory.
Sweet victory. Oh yeah, the one episode. There might have been more than one, but that was the first episode where Squidward was successful.
Yeah.
He didn't fail at something or get left out of something.
Let's save that for the list.
Yeah. But that was good.
Oh my goodness. Now let's get to the comedy. Some of the best comedy you'll find in any cartoon.
Yes. And I don't know if there's very little potty humor.
There's little to no potty humor in
any of it I've seen. No, occasionally there might have been one poked in, but it wasn't
constant.
They weren't depending on it. They weren't depending on that to make the show.
They rely on their own specific humor, which is hilarious. Mm-hmm. When it's at its best, it's hilarious. Mm-hmm. It really hits your funny bone. Like, whenever Patrick tells you Wombo. When it says
W for Wombo.
When it says M for Minnie, when you spell W for Wombo.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's off one of the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy episodes.
Oh man, Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
And that's sort of a play off of Batman and Robin.
It's like Nickelodeon's Batman and Robin, but
except for they're 85 years old. Oh, that's funny.
This show has so many great moments in it.
Mm-hmm. Now, who's the original writer of SpongeBob? Is what, Steve Hillenburg?
The guy who created...
He's the creator.
Steven Hillenburg is the creator of SpongeBob SquarePants. He was the guy who gave us all the fun.
Mm-hmm.
the FUNs and all the
And he wrote
Mumbos.
him, and what was the other fellow who wrote the first three? Helped to write for the first 3 seasons.
Kaz, who was the guy's name is Kaz, and he wrote for the original SpongeBob before moving into other projects, and
What's the other guy?
and C.H. Greenblatt, who's working on Harvey Beaks as of this moment.
Harvey Beaks was actually a really good show too. So they worked on the first 3 years. That's what I said. That's sort of my favorite SpongeBob period.
Was at the period before
the first 3 years, and now you've told me that they're coming back
to do the 10th season.
To do the 10th season. So I've got really good hopes for the 10th season. Maybe having some throwback comedy to those first 3 years, maybe, which was my favorite times. Now the other SpongeBobs, I like most of them too. Not as much as the first 3 years. The first 3 years are gold.
Those things you just can't forget.
They're in the Looney Tunes hall. They're up there to where you'll watch them 20 years from now and still sing along to the songs. The later years are okay, but not as good as the first 3 years. I have enjoyed the 2 movies that were released.
The first one was great.
The Sponge Atlantis.
The first
SquarePants.
The first SpongeBob movie that released in theaters was great, and the second one,
I had my doubts about it because it had some live action in it, but it turned out to be pretty good too. We might review it sometime, but it was actually pretty good. But again, it's like any show. Like I was telling Austin, I love Scooby Doo because when I was young. That's when Scooby-Doo first came out, back in the 70s. Tell how old I am. But back in the 70s when they first came out. Now, those are my favorite Scooby-Doos. The old Scooby-Doos.
The ones that are coming out now.
Not the ones that are out now. They're not, they're okay. I still like them because they're Scooby-Doo. But my favorite is the old school Scooby-Doos. So, it's sort of the same way with SpongeBob. I really, really loved the first 3 years. They were awesome. Those are the epic shows.
And I just cannot say anything. I could just go on about this show. I could just say how awesome it is and how lovable the characters are and how great the writing is and how awesome the comedy is and how great the everything is. My goodness. There's no way you can explain it other than that. I mean, it is just awesome.
It is. It's just an awesome show.
Now,
Do you want to?
Now let's get to the ratings.
You want to get to the rate? You want to explain how we do the ratings?
How do we do the ratings? And
we go 1 through 10.
1 being completely and utterly horrible.
Crap.
And 10 being the best thing ever. And this show is far from a 10. It's far from a 1. Okay. It's far from that.
Now, we normally take things from the episodes to use. Like on the Kung Fu Panda series, we used
dumplings
because they love dumplings. So we rated it a 1 through 10 dumplings. So on and so forth. Each episode, each cartoon that we review, we try to take something out of the episode to rate by. So what do you want to use to rate SpongeBob?
Oh, man.
Krabby Patties.
Krabby Patties,
It's gotta be Krabby Patties.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Krabby Patties. So, yeah, out of one Krabby Patties crap, 10 Krabby Patties is awesome. How many Krabby Patties do you give SpongeBob SquarePants?
Honestly, I did not think a show could reach this limit or reach the heights that it did. But honestly, this is the first time I'm ever going to give it a 10 out of 10.
It is your favorite cartoon ever made.
It is my favorite show ever made. And it seems when a show gets a 10 out of 10, that means you must watch it. You must watch it no matter what happens.
And you, especially when you owned the first 3 seasons.
I binge watched them for so many hours.
Yeah.
What do you give SpongeBob SquarePants?
It's the same thing. If the first 3 seasons I think are a good, solid. It's not my favorite show ever because I like some of the older stuff, but I would give it a good 9.5. The first 3 years.
That was what I gave the first 3 years, a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
The impossible rating.
The impossible ratings, yeah. Overall, I would still give it a 9 because it's lasted 17 years. I mean, you have to be something to last 17 years. Now, some people out there just hate SpongeBob, just hate it. But that's everybody.
That's just everybody.
That's everybody's choice. And I'm not saying that SpongeBob, everything they've ever done is awesome, because everything not they've ever done is awesome. But the first 3 years is some of the best cartoons that's ever made. It's up there in the Looney Tunes, the Tom and Jerry's, the Scooby Doo's. It's stuff, I will remember parts of those cartoons
Mickey Mouse.
all of my entire life, and I'll remember.
I'll remember
some of SpongeBob for the rest of my life too.
I'll remember SpongeBob for the rest of my life because of how much of an impact it made on my life as a whole.
Yeah.
But I was just a calm-minded little kid when I was like 1 or 2 years old. But whenever I watched SpongeBob, my life completely changed.
Mm-hmm. Now
I started to talk like SpongeBob during a period, and I started to walk like SpongeBob during a period, and I started to say some of the quotes from SpongeBob at a period.
I still say some of the quotes. So, because they just stick in your head, they're funny.
It's just a great show.
And every now and then you'll go to YouTube, pull up a clip just to laugh at it because you thought of it and you want to see it again.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Now, also later, hopefully really soon, soon after this goes up on YouTube, we're also going to come out with our top 10
favorite SpongeBob episodes.
So not long after this, maybe hopefully just a few hours after this one pops up, that one will be popping up too. We've been really busy, haven't been able to get to everything that we wanted to do, but we're definitely going to get this review out and then get out our top 10 list. We've got coming next weekend, we've got the Powerpuff Girls
reboot to look at.
We're going to go watch the remake of the cartoon,
The Powerpuff Girls.
We're also going to go watch Jungle Book.
The Jungle Book, yes.
The Jungle Book. So we're gonna. It's live action, but we're gonna go watch it. It's a remake of a really famous
cartoon.
So.
And then after that,
well, I said we've been told about something that's supposed to be epically bad.
And it's the worst thing ever made.
So we have to watch it. If it's that bad, we have to watch it just to see how bad it is.
Yes.
That's called Food Fight. So we're gonna be watching that. Other than that, I think we're about done. Right? Are we good?
And then, see you next week.
Bang, bang.